First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Sophia, Joy, and Rob with an all-new episode of Drama Queens.
Where? Oh,
Here. It's here.
Let's go.
Welcome in, everybody. Today we've got Season 9, Episode 7, Last Known Surroundings. Air date February 22nd, 2012. Synopsis reads, Haley seeks help from Lucas as Nathan makes an escape attempt. Brooke comes face-to-face with Xavier. Julian uncovers evidence that assists Dan in his search for Nathan. And Clay makes a connection with another patient. This is not our best synopsis, as Clay did not make a connection with another patient in this episode.
Was that the last one or the next one?
Previous episode, with Logan. Nonetheless, let's not bury the lead. It was directed by the sex pylon himself, Austin Nichols.
Ew.
So good.
Wow. What a ride this episode was. Look, we went fully into the deep. There was no relief. It was fully like, let's just dive into the darkness of all of it. Yeah. Which, fine. I mean, all these storylines are needing to be resolved, so okay. But it did feel a lot like all of these storylines are needing to be resolved, and so we're just going to shove everything in there at once.
I know there was 44 minutes of content, but I really, like, a lot didn't actually happen.
That part.
You know, I'm not saying it's a bad episode, but as I kind of reviewed my notes, when I woke up this morning, I was trying to just think about the episode. I was like, it felt like it could have been 22 minutes of content, like wall to wall. And they just sort of like stretched it out.
Oh, so I just thought I kept pausing it when I was watching it. I had to keep pausing it for all different interruptions. So the episode felt packed to me, I think, because it was so long and drawn out that I was like, man, there's just so much going on. Oh. But maybe all back to back, it didn't feel that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because so much of it was static and so many things have been moving around, right? But we spent so much time in the warehouse with Nathan and the kidnappers. We spent so much time with Haley and Lucas at the airport, which, by the way, like, what an iconic moment, right? Like, there's Lucas Scott walking through the doors. You're like, so oh my God, he's finally back. And then I literally at one point wrote, are they going to keep them in the airport for the whole episode?
Same.
Yeah.
Because I didn't remember that by the end you would figure out that he was going to take the kids back, to be with him and Peyton. And I literally was like, why are we wasting Haley and Lucas in the freaking airport? Like, they're going to go to the food court? What's happening?
It felt like Chad flew into town and was like, I'm going to land, have your cameras rolling.
Yes.
I'm going to shoot my scenes and my flight leaves 4 hours later.
Yeah.
Because I'm with you. So if I had notes from like, are we really not going to leave the airport? And especially what makes it extra awkward is you guys are having such a sensitive, private discussion.
Yes.
And you're choosing to do it in the middle of a sea of people.
Yes.
Which just feels so counterintuitive.
Not to say the grossest thing in the world, but like, Haley James Scott and Nathan Scott are both famous. And guess what you don't do if you're in a personal crisis and you're a public figure is talk about it out loud and cry in public where people can like eavesdrop and call like a tablet. It felt so weird to me. And even the fact that you guys wouldn't pick him up and like go for a drive and go get lunch and then drive back to the airport.
Yeah. Yes.
Like to waste Lucas's return and not go over the bridge. Like, what are we doing?
And wondering it the whole time instead of just knowing that he's there to pick up the kids. Like that would have solved the mystery right away. And then I guess we would have understood. But I also felt really dissatisfied with my performance in this because I felt like it was so grossly underplayed. I was just like, I mean, there's so many opportunities to really get vulnerable and break down and like actually she's in the arms of her best friend so she can finally freak out. But now that you're saying that, I'm like, actually, that maybe that's why I didn't, because we were in a public place and I didn't want to freak out my kids. But like, it just felt like I'm listening to the dialogue and the stakes are so high. And I was kind of it seemed like I was barely upset. It seemed like I was upset in a way that's like, I'm worried that somebody I love is going to die before I get there. Like somebody's in a bed in a hospital somewhere dying and I feel sad and I'm a little anxious about getting there on time. Not like, oh my God, my husband is missing and probably dead.
I hear you on that, but I think that's one of those things where as an actor, you wonder if you should have done more. But as a viewer, if you had fully, again, as a famous rock star, if you had fully lost your shit in the airport with 400 people looking at you, I would have been like, girl, you are famous, rein it in, you know?
And your child is there watching and your baby's there. I'm with Soph on this one. I completely get it. But as a viewer, I bought it because also I don't even think Haley is all there right now. One of my first notes was just like the incredibly difficult position Haley is in because she's never fully allowed to just be with the Nathan situation because she's she's solo parenting and having to not break down in front of these kids. So she is putting on this long form acting for her children's sake while going through this. So I thought everything you played totally made sense and was extra appropriate given that you never left the middle of an airport. Like
totally.
Yeah, they really boxed Austin in, didn't they? Like what else was he supposed to do with that?
This whole episode though was odd in the sense that everyone stayed in their spot. With the exception of Brooke, like Brooke and Julian, they got to be at their house and they got to be at the jail and then you got to be at Karen's. But like we had 4 or 5 scenes with Clay and respectfully, like, we don't really learn much new information at all. And we don't get to see any big progress being made. I feel like Clay's stuff, it's part of the reason why I'm like, wow, this is like, it got stretched a bit is that the 4 scenes of Clay's felt like it could have been 1 long one or 2 short ones, and we would have gotten exactly the same payoff.
It's interesting you say that though. Watching it, I really enjoyed watching you do the slow chip away with the doctor. I thought the payoff of realizing that he thinks about a family with Quinn was so lovely because it was really tender and it was really sensitive. But I get what you're saying, where if there'd been one more pass on the script, we probably could have had one less scene at the airport, one less scene in therapy. Like it felt like they were drawing it out to get to 908 instead of giving 907 a little more juice.
Yes. And that being said, though, I'm with you. I enjoy those scenes. I think David Noronha is great in the role of the therapist. And here's a fun one for me. I didn't remember the whole Clay was going to drive until he couldn't drive anymore and then take his own life. That was news to me.
Yeah.
Holy
me
cow.
too. I didn't remember that at all, which feels crazy.
So yeah, there was just a lot of people, all of the kidnapping stuff, which guys, we'll get to that, but oh boy.
Yeah.
You know what? There. I will say I really appreciated, because I felt like certain things were a little overwritten. Like your stuff, Rob, I thought was really beautiful. That big revelation for Clay, which is so heavy. And again, I thought all your stuff worked because it was this quiet time between 2 men talking. And it's a different way to have these big emotional reveals in a show like ours. And I was refreshed by that. And I thought that was so well done. I thought and this is no knock obviously on James. He played it great. But I was like, it's such a weird thing to have a guy be told he's going to be killed and then to say like, I'm not going to give you my fear. I'm like, it felt a little overdone, like the kidnapper quoting Shakespeare feels overdone to me.
This
I'm like,
character choice from the writers, like this has almost ruined Shakespeare for me. Almost. I can't.
Fully agree. And so it was so weird. Like some of it, I thought was so almost poetic. And then some of it felt so forced. And the one thing that I was like, ooh, I really appreciated the Officer Stevens character coming to check on you, because I wrote, wait, what don't I remember? Is he a good guy or a bad guy? I thought his choices were so great. I thought the way Austin directed the two of you was so great, because I was like, oh, thank God somebody cares, because the cops aren't doing their job. And then I was like, wait a minute. Is this like a double agent? So some of it worked so well. Yeah. And then some of it was just like so heavy-handed, and I don't get it.
Yeah. When he switched the guns and took the knife, I was like, oh no. That was good. It was fun. I don't know about good, but it was fun. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because the guy who you just don't want to escape, why would you even why wouldn't you just put the gun on him and be like, back in the chair?
Right.
It's just more. Well, why does he go through the show of being like, hey, I'm a good guy. Come here. Yeah, here's my gun that I've emptied without you know. Why wouldn't he just be like, hey, pal, back in the chair, and put the gun in James' face? That's all. It's just that it was.
He just wants to have fun. Do I have to do everything myself?
Yeah. What I don't get is, why does every bad guy want to punch Nathan? It's like every bad guy who goes in there has to do it.
Oh, wait. Isn't it sort of like the comment section of the internet? Like, Nathan Scott is an NBA star, so everyone's like, let me take this guy down a notch. And it's like, no, literally everyone who sees him just hits him. And isn't that kind of like the internet?
It's like he's the ultimate hero, and so everybody gets a shot.
Everyone's like, oh, you think you're hot? I'm going to take you down a peg. And it's like, that's a fun interaction to have with every human I run into in a day.
By the way, James takes a punch so well. Like, I just loved the expression on his face. He looks so genuinely like emotionally hurt.
He's more disappointed than mad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, come on, guys. Why did you do that to me?
Nathan Scott is so emotionally evolved. He has a 9-year hero's journey on our show.
Yeah.
And it is. I wonder if part of what we see is that he's like, people still behave like this? Is that look on his face?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
You know what I did not have on my episode 907 bingo card was the Russian kidnapper quoting Gossip Girl.
Oh my gosh. Yes. He's like, what are you, Chuck?
Referencing Gossip Girl.
And he says it. You know, this what are you, Chuck? Is this Gossip Girl?
Yeah. Let's rewind a bit. When Dan goes up to the drug dealer in the park earlier, remember at the top of it, he was finishing a call with a man named Dimitri. Who in this episode, we see this same Clay's dealer going to this guy, Dimitri, for drugs. Yep. So we realize it's the same guy, which means Dimitri is a local criminal, which then just confuses me as to how he became... Like, Tree Hill's a small place, and I'm always amazed at just some of the niche people we have. So, like, he's like a homegrown criminal. He's a local guy, but he has ties to Eastern Europe.
Yeah, it's like, so the Eastern Europeans sent a syndicate block to Tree Hill, North Carolina, of all places.
It seems like they've got an in with the Tree Hill cop. Somehow they knew how to find the bad cop in Tree Hill. And the bad cop knew how to find the drug dealers that could help him out.
And by the way, the villain story for the bad cop is that he's actually such a good cop and no one will give him a shot. So he decides to be a bad guy. Like, come on, guys. Yeah.
That was fantastic. Oh my gosh.
I could also tell this was pre-COVID in a different time, because in that opening scene, Nathan's like, I'm thirsty. And the guy gives him a bottle of water and like jams it into his mouth, and Nathan drinks it. And then the Dimitri walks away, and then he takes a big slug out of it with his mouth on it. And I was like, ooh! And I remembered, oh yeah, back then that wouldn't have been, cooties weren't such a big deal.
It also, that moment confused me just in terms of a choice, or if that was written on the page, I'm not sure. But like, what it felt like it was supposed to be a threatening moment, and I didn't understand what about him drinking water was supposed to feel threatening to Nathan. We just like lingered on that. Like, I'm going to drink this water now.
I'm going to take your water for myself.
I think you both are underestimating how menacing hydration is. We should take this one to the internets and ask.
You guys, parts of this episode honestly made me feel driven to drink. Like, it just, I don't know, man. And again, it's like, it's a weird thing. I don't know if you guys are having this experience. It's weird to me knowing that 9/13 is going to be our final episode.
Oh my gosh.
Knowing that
13.
we came into season 9 absolutely certain. Everyone was on the same page. We're going to do 13 final episodes. It's basically a mini series season.
Locked in, contracts done. There was no way they could renew. There was no way they could, and there was no extraordinary circumstances that were going to happen. This was it.
And then some of these not well thought through things are the plot points. And it's like, how was this not? How was every scene in season 9 not one of the best scenes that were ever written on our show? You know what I mean?
Do you know when Game of Thrones ended and everybody was like freaking out because it felt like it was a kind of a throwaway? I mean, I've gone back to watch since, and I actually think it was great, and all the signs were there from the beginning. But that's beside my point right now, which is that the writers had been hired, I believe, to go do the new Star Wars series, and so they were. A lot of people felt like, oh, maybe they're phoning it in because it's the end of Game of Thrones. It's all over, and they've got other jobs. And I'm wondering, watching this, just to hit your point, Sophia, that I'm wondering if it was like everybody was looking for another job and they were just like, how do we just get this over with?
But it wasn't pilot season. That's the whole reason we did 13 episodes.
Oh,
remember?
Right.
Like, the whole point was that we were going to be wrapped by November. So everybody would be able to take November and December and like see their families for the first time in a decade, and then get into pilot season in January, February. So nobody was staffed on other shows. There were no other writers' rooms hiring because everyone was on there. So it's just so weird to me. And maybe it's almost that thing of when the pressure feels so high, you almost, I don't want to say sabotage yourself. I don't want to like suggest that I think that's what was happening here, but you know, I'm the first person who, if I'm like, I'm going to really be good to myself, I'm not going to eat things that trigger my asthma. And then like literally for the next 3 weeks, all I can do is eat fried chicken. Like, I don't know if it's the kind of thing where you put so much pressure on yourself that you kind of come up short, or you panic, or you know, your mind goes blank or whatever.
Yeah, that happens to me.
But I mean, even what you're saying, Rob, like the ding ding for me, seeing the park drug dealer punching Nathan, I wrote like, there's the overlap with Dan. Because Dan threatened the guy, and then the guy was like, you don't know who you're threatening, and I could like ruin your family's life. Who is Dan's family? Nathan. Like, it could be a thing where you go, is it Dan? Is Dan in on it? And it's just a throwaway moment. There's no suspense. There's no moment for the guy to say something to Nathan about like, yeah, last time I saw your father. There's nothing that would be so good to like say, is he or isn't he, for the audience? And I'm like sad about it a little bit.
Well, let's talk about that the whole Dan of it all, of the like, is he in on it? Is he not?
Yeah.
To be or not to be? That is the question. If Dan is to be involved or not. I don't think now that he is, now that I'm seeing him like behind computer screens staring and running his finger along clues on walls, unless Rob, do you still think it's all a show?
Not as much.
Rob's rolling his eyes.
Because, you know, it's so fun to run with a theory, you know, but as I was watching, I mean, listen, I laughed to myself when Dan apparently knows an obscure Eastern European gang sign from the graffiti.
Yeah.
I just, that made me laugh, because why wouldn't he, you know?
Of course.
But no, I feel as though, like I said, I don't quite understand the world of, like, if that drug dealer lives in Tree Hill, how does he, I mean, does he have a relationship with the guy who pays athletes out of a briefcase handcuffed to his arm? Like that part, I'm still kind of confused as to how they all like know each other. But nah, I'm starting to think Dan didn't do it, maybe. But let me tell you what, though, interesting that Dan had an interaction with the fella who's involved with these people. Mm-hmm. I haven't given up on it, but the temperature's definitely dropped in the theory
he could
jacuzzi.
be at fault in some way, maybe, if he's not involved.
Yeah, maybe he's so obsessed with fixing it because he wonders if the guy from the park had something to do with it. I will say the device of watching him, like as an audience member, watching him work alone, so, feverishly, certainly makes it feel like we can trust him more. I also really do like the device that Jamie doesn't want to leave without the video. At first, I didn't get it. I was like, bro, you're going to go home after lunch. Like, why? You'll get your video. And then it's like, oh, of course he wants it because he's getting on the plane with his uncle. But I like the device of, oh, Brooke and Julian have a key to our house. He can go email it to me. And Julian realizing this could be a clue for Dan. It's just a cool... That was a good piece of writing, I thought. That was a nice little device there.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of good in this episode. I realize we've sort of jumped into the nitpicking and things, but I thought all of the the Julian and Brooke stuff was great here. But I do have to say this. I have questions. For example, I've never met Lucas before. So... Did Lucas and Haley ever have a thing, or were you all just like besties?
Always just best friends, like brother and sister.
Okay.
We had a night, there was like a dare night when we kissed in a car off of a dare, and we both were like,
and
gross.
The last time that we saw Lucas, did he have this look? Was his hair long?
No, short.
Okay.
This
so
was
fans
new.
Probably gasped.
Yeah, everybody gasped for sure. I gasped. I didn't even know he was showing up in the airport. I was like, who are they looking for? But I was there. I didn't even remember filming it.
Do you want to know what's so crazy? The reason I knew is like one of the photos I see a lot, just, in things we're tagged in online. There's this really great set photography photo that day of you and Chad and Chantel, and she has that turquoise necklace on. And I was like, wait, I know that outfit. Yeah. And then I was like, wait, I know that outfit from pictures of the three of you. And I was like, oh, he's coming.
That's right. Also, I thought it was really funny when they did the shot of Chantel and I standing next to each other, and she's like an Amazon. I mean, she's legitimately like a 2 feet taller than me. It looks like she must have been wearing heels. That was pretty great.
Yeah, she has heels on under those flares. And you have
and
flats
I was wearing
on,
flats.
And it's like, it's hilarious. It's actually very like Nathan and Haley coded.
Yeah.
Which I wondered. I was like, oh, is there some sort of like subliminal message in here?
That's funny. No, I don't think anybody was thinking that hard.
Probably I'm sure that the fans absolutely loved seeing Chad back. But I got to say that I, as a viewer, it felt like a really cruel tease. Because I was excited, because again, I've never met this guy. I just know he's beloved and, he's such a big part of the story that I see him. I'm like, oh, great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a couple short scenes and he's gone.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, no. It's like I've had a taste and now I've tasted the forbidden fruit and now I want me some Lucas. And just like that, he's gone.
And just like that. I know, that was sad.
It feels like a tease, and I think part of what adds to the bummer of it is just, especially in the last couple of years, what we've all been able to unpack, knowing that we were being told on set that both Chad and Hilarie had been invited back, and then learning from Hilarie that she was actually never invited back, that's just what our boss was telling us. It feels even meaner because it was such a letdown for so many fans. And it's also like, wouldn't it have been so freaking cool for Peyton and Lucas to come home during this?
Yeah.
To come stay, to be part of the finale of the show that they also built? Like, it just doesn't feel right.
How does Nathan go missing
Yes.
and they don't come back to
Exactly.
help find him? On what planet?
How does Brooke Davis get married without Haley and Peyton? You know what I mean?
Yes, it's ridiculous.
The fact that a 50-year-old man was being like a baby and was like, I have grudges against girls that didn't, like me. Like, what, bro? Like, it's really a bummer. And I am glad at least that, Chad got to come back. But it's like, even the fact that he's like, as soon as Nathan's back, like, I'll bring the kids back. And then why didn't him and Peyton come back with the kids? It just sucks it sucks for us. It sucks for the legacy of the show. It's a bummer.
It actually felt really, maybe that's part of what hit me about that scene in the airport where I was like upset with myself for not acting better. And I thought, but now, like, maybe that's part of it, that the fact that Lucas is back in town and it felt so removed. He felt so disconnected, like as though he and Nathan had not become real brothers, really close, as though everything that had happened in the first 4 seasons was just, or were they 6 or 4? How long were they there?
6.
6 seasons. 6 seasons. And then suddenly Lucas is just like, I'm so sorry that my brother is missing.
Yeah.
Like, that just sucks. What can I do to help you? I'll take the kids. Sure. Like, you're on your own, but like, good luck. And I'll take the kids. I mean,
and even
what?
the weird scripted dig from Haley saying, you don't call, you don't write.
Yeah.
Like, that's a choice for the actor playing this beloved character. Like, I don't know. It just.
What is Lucas doing? He's writing? Take a break, bro. Like, come help find your brother. I just don't get it.
Hit save on your novel.
Yeah.
And come home.
Oh, you're your own boss, but you can't get the time off? Got it.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear your perspective, Rob, because I think sometimes we forget, like, what it feels like to someone who didn't get to interact with those characters. And even for you to be like, wait, this is anticlimactic for me, having heard about this person for so long. It's, it helps me know that it isn't just our kind of behind the scenes stuff that can be a bummer that makes me feel that way. I'm like, no, it really is like an actual just on-screen bummer also.
It was a missed opportunity for sure. And I think this last season took missed some opportunities to really soar because of our boss's issues. Because you're absolutely right. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world for those two to come back during this crisis.
Yeah.
And to be there just at the end. Yeah, man.
So weird. But we did get to watch Dan barbecue on a soundstage, which was fun.
I also love Dan weirdly hitting on Julian in that scene, being like, they're going to love you in prison. I'm like, what's going on here?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is Dan Scott hitting on my husband? Like, it's funny. They have a funny dynamic together. I really like it.
I do. I like it too. Austin's like, I hate you, but all right.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like he kind of was like, you're so annoying, but my butt does look good in these pants, you know?
And to be fair, Julian's probably also lonely as hell at his job. We've already seen him recreating the Goonies by himself, throwing a tennis ball against the wall. So I'm sure even, think of Dan Scott what you will, that he's just like, sweet, there's an adult with a pulse. Let's go chat.
Yeah. It's somebody who's not making fun of me because all the other men on the show have been written to make fun of Julian all the time. It feels like Dan actually respects him in some way. They have a funny banter, but it feels more like a sibling friendly banter rather than people actually just putting down Julian all the time.
But Dan choosing to go out, buy a barbecue, buy briquettes, buy raw meat, and then proceed to barbecue it indoors. It just feels like a lot of extra work when he could have just got a couple of burgers.
Yeah, that is actually really funny. The backstory of that he's sitting in this trailer. He's trying to solve the mystery of where his son has disappeared to. And he's like, you know what? I'm hungry. You know what? I'm going to go to Home Depot. Yeah. I'm going to pick up a barbecue. I'm coming back. charcoal lighter.
Yeah.
I'm grilling. The grilling is going to help me. Maybe that's the backstory, that he's like, the grilling is going to help me get my mental juices flowing. I'm going to solve
That's his
this.
meditation.
We were talking about him going to Home Depot.
It's that I'm just saying that like the idea that he's feverishly working to find his son, and he's like, I could be back with a burger in 12 minutes, or I could find a way to turn this into a 5-hour ordeal. You know, I just thought that was odd. No, the scene that I was going to talk about was Chris Keller and Chase.
Oh my God.
So good. Tyler wins for the best on-camera wake-up I've ever seen in my life.
It was great.
He can do it all. So here's the behind the scenes that our viewers probably don't know is, so the gal who comes out of the bathroom or comes out of the bed, her name is Jess, and she's a friend of the show. And then the other girl who appears at the end when you realize it's a 4-way is actually her real life sister, Alexis, who was in charge of extras casting.
What?
Yeah.
What? I did not know this.
Yeah, friend.
And they were like, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tracks.
It tracks. Thank God it was Steven and Tyler, who are the sweetest boys in the world. The dialogue in that whole scene was so painful for me. One more pony ride, you can't afford it, and you weren't that good at it anyway. I was like, this is so rank. And then the immediate switch flip of Chris Keller when he hears Chase is deploying, going, you got drafted? Can they do that?
Oh, it's so good.
Having no clue he's enlisted. No, like, it's just so, they are so funny together.
It's brilliant.
Yes.
Honestly, friends, if you have not watched this episode in a while, just even for the sake of fast forwarding to the scene where Tyler wakes up, or go to where Chase wakes up, and then you'll find Chris Keller. It's the best wake. He's so believable. He's so self-deprecating. He's so unaware of himself on camera. It's so realistic and hilarious. I could not stop laughing. And you will too. Go enjoy it.
It's perfect.
I'm glad that they made a moment out of the fact that Jessica, the first girl, chose to not put her clothes back on, but just exit in a sexy bra and underwear, which I don't understand. I think it was just so they could have the line of Chase going, did she just leave in her underwear? And then Chris goes, she's a stripper, I think, or vice versa. Chris goes, did she just leave in her underwear? And Chase goes, she's a stripper. I think they do that. So it's a mildly funny line, but it's like, I don't think anyone does that. It was odd. Also, here's my question. Have we ever actually seen Chase getting into the Air Force? I know there's been talk of this, but I didn't.
Yeah.
This caught me off guard.
There were some scenes where he was on,
with Chase and Alex.
Chase and Alex. Yeah, that's right. I was going to say Camp Lejeune, but that's Marines. I don't know where we saw him, but there was something at a base.
Yeah, there was something, but I remember more specifically just because it was such a sweet scene between the two of them with Chase and Alex talking, and he was going to leave. And she said, in a year, I'll meet you here.
Right.
At the airfield where it was the very awkward meetup where it's like, is he about to dateline her?
Yeah.
It's like a fair to remember. Like, I'll meet you here in a year if we're still, blah, blah, blah.
Womp, womp, womp. Yeah.
Okay. I just wasn't sure if I had missed that or if it just fast forwarded in the background.
It was just really funny in the context of all the other things happening in this episode. It was so random, but I was glad to see Tyler do that. I was glad to see Steven and Chuck, this storyline that continues to just tug at my heartstrings. I really love that they've continued this on, and kids aren't often given real storylines on TV shows. They're just in and out as accessories. And the fact that they really trusted Michael May with this material and it is wonderful. And it's an interaction that I didn't know I needed. Like, I wanted to see I love seeing how this young, hot, single man running around in circles in his life in many ways is centered by an unlikely friendship with this sweet young boy who also is really struggling in his own life.
Yeah.
Needing a father figure, needing somebody who just is consistent. It's like the spin-off that I need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love this show that I'm watching of the two of them.
Totally. And there's something really refreshing, again, because so many characters in the show have such exceptional lives. The fact that a boy whose home life is very unstable gets to be supported by one of our characters also allows one of our characters to go into an arena that's really important to talk about that isn't all about excellence. It's not a record label or a rock star or the NBA or fashion or, an agency. It's like, this is a kid in the neighborhood that he mentors, and he has a really volatile home life. And those are often the things that don't get the spotlight. And I think there's something that I so love about the storyline, to your point, and I was so touched by Steven's performance in this episode. I thought the way he played it was beautiful because he wasn't trying to be macho. He wasn't trying to have all the answers. He was figuring it out in real time and a little panicked and wanting it to not be true and also wanting to not leave this kid alone. And it was so human, and it was really special to watch them play off of each other like this.
It's something we don't see a lot on our show, on our show with men. It usually is like a woman who's providing this nurturing role, but I was realizing as you were talking, he's stepping into the Uncle Keith role. That we haven't seen in so long. Just stepping up and showing him what a good man looks like, even though he's got his own flaws and he's trying to figure out his own shit in his life. Like, he can still show up for this boy. It's just there's something about it that's like balm on my heart every time the two of them are together on camera. It just makes me happy and hopeful.
Yeah. And it's really also very cool, to his credit, for Michael May. It's not easy to be a young kid and have a really heavy storyline. And the way he delivered that line at the end of that, scene about the bike, when he finally reveals the bruise and Chase asks him if his mom knows that he got hurt. And he says, "No, you can't tell her, she'll take my bike away." And the cover up, it was so heartbreaking to me. And I was like, man, not only are these two actors crushing this, but like our sweet friend Michael, this literal little boy, is able to put so much subtext in a scene like this. And I don't know, I think they did a beautiful job, and I'm really happy for them that they had Austin directing them in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have it in the family.
The kids are learning. He's really, you could tell, because when he started the show, it was that sort of element of like, oh, you're a kid, you're an accessory to the storyline. Like, this is just cuteness. And then he actually started really learning how to act. And they gave him an opportunity to. I mean, that's beautiful. I was really
so cool.
happy about that.
So Xavier is
next.
Bad guy. Yes. Obviously.
Yes.
So I haven't seen it, but I do remember, I think maybe a flashback. So he is the one who breaks into Clothes Over Bros and assaults Brooke. And he also is the same guy who shoots Q.
Same night.
Is there a shortage? Remember those? We said there's a shortage of bartenders in Tree Hill because we always see Chase doing it. Is there a shortage of criminals as well?
Guess so.
Well, I don't know. With the whole organized crime syndicate and a murderer on the loose, it seems like we have a lot.
How was there no conviction for him over Quentin's murder? I didn't realize that. I
didn't either.
Assumed that was all wrapped up. But you're telling me a gas station didn't have cameras?
CCTV?
A liquor store it's not a gas station, convenience store, excuse me. A convenience store that sells liquor doesn't have a camera?
Well, also, Quentin was shot. Ballistics for bullets, they match a gun. I don't know what we missed in terms of not getting a conviction on that crime. But it also, for me...
It was useful for this storyline, though.
Yeah, useful for the storyline. it made me wonder. I mean, listen, this is the story, right? Like she's got to go to the parole hearing, so this is the story. But I'm thinking about it and thinking if someone were in jail and I knew they'd murdered a person I knew and not been convicted of it, that wouldn't make me more likely to go see them. You know what I mean? Like if they weren't going to be held up against the full weight of the law, I don't know.
How did you feel about this storyline when it came in? I mean, this is kind of out of the blue, I think.
It feels really out of the blue. I think what's really surreal is in more recent years, I've been through something like this with a friend of mine.
Oh.
And so it's really surreal to watch it. You know, at the time, you read articles, you study up on what you can to try to understand systems, you know. And now having sat with someone who's gone through this, I'm just like, man, that it is so heavy. And yeah, the victim either testimony or letter at a parole hearing is so important. I think what I appreciated about it, even though, like I was saying earlier about some of the stuff, I think some of that writing in the episode is so great. And I love the shift from being on the other side of the glass and telling him the story of the kids to it seamlessly going into the parole hearing testimony. Like that's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I loved that.
I thought the writing in the earlier scene with Julian felt a little heavy-handed. Like I want to believe in my heart I have the capacity for forgiveness or, you know, whatever it is. But I like that. I like when a character gets to say, I want to believe I could be this good, but I'm also human. And I liked watching this married couple have that conversation, you know, talk about what our highest ideals are versus when we're really in a rock and a hard place. How do they get applied? Can they be applied?
Do they even matter if they're not applied in the rock and the hard place spot?
Yes, exactly. And I like that they kind of went around in circles. I liked that it wasn't so squeaky clean and everyone just knew to do the right thing right away or whatever. It felt really human to me, their whole journey. But oof, I don't know, man. It's like a repeat offender like that. It's scary. And he's such a good actor. He's so good at being scary.
So subtle. He knew the camera. Like, that's one thing I love when an actor understands where the camera is.
Yeah.
Pete Kowalski, our DP, was always so great at telling us. He'd be like, we're in a cowboy shot, which is like at your hips, or we're like right up close on your face, so that you knew how much to react based on where the camera was. And he was one of those actors that really understood like where the camera is and how much or how little to give. And I really was impressed by that, but I loved what we got from him when you asked him, what about Peyton? Oh, so good.
That flash of rage.
Yes. And then, but also like the genuine, like, I'm supposed to say I'm sorry. There was almost like this, like, there was almost like a bewilderment even that flashed through his eyes. Like, but I wasn't convicted of that. Why would I have to apologize for, you know, like a real true psychopath? Like, I can't comprehend the idea that well, but that's not on my list of things I need to perform in order to get what I want.
Yeah. Ooh, so uncomfortable.
Creepy.
Going back to the scene with Julian and Brooke at their house, my favorite part of it was the very, very end when Brooke just says to him, "You and me."
Yeah.
That's just, it's so true. And it's so sweet that it's like, no matter what's going on, it's like, we're the team. We're not each other's enemy. I love to see that kind of teamwork and partnership.
Oh, we needed that after everything with him in the last few episodes.
Yes.
We needed that.
And letting him show up for her in that way and also mirror who she is back to her. Because when you're questioning yourself, your capabilities for either forgiveness or bravery or any of the things required for this scenario, for him to say you're capable of anything. I love you because of how strong you are. I love you because of how brave you are. I'm proud of you. Like, I'm right there with you even when you're scared. It was great it was just great partnership stuff for them. And I really enjoyed it. And I liked that the device, despite for some characters it feeling like a little bit of a letdown, i.e. you guys at the airport, I actually liked that this quiet time at home or quiet time in the car, it was nice just to see the two of them talking through things together. It felt really grounded and true.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Rob. That's a great point. I kind of sidestepped it. I didn't really like notice it because it's the place that I feel most comfortable with Brooke and Julian, that they're that's where they belong. So I just settled into it. I'm glad you noticed that.
And now that we're discussing it, I also wonder though, because we're saying how another way of saying sort of the opening thing about how I was saying that it feels drawn out. I mean, another way you could look at that is it's just we are allowed to sit with things. And maybe maybe that was an actual choice because we do have episodes that are just wall to wall whiplash. This happens, this happens, this happens. Mouth almost eats a pizza. Oh no, And maybe it was intentional. Maybe they did know it was coming down the pike, and they wanted to just give us sort of a slower one to kind of as the change up pitch. But here's the real burning question I have. Do you think when you become a member of the Bad Guys Club, you take an oath that you will only ever eat an apple with a sharp knife? Why is that a trope? I have never seen a bad guy just take a bite like a human. They always have to do it with a knife in a real menacing way.
Yeah,
what
there's
is that?
something about it. And why is it always an apple? Is that a reference to Snow White or something?
It's like, we just saw you shoot your coworker an episode ago. I don't need you to eat an apple like an irresponsible bad boy to be intimidated.
Yeah, it could be a peach.
Yeah. What? It's just odd. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh my, it's such a hat on a hat. Like, he just shot a guy.
Also, if you want him to have a knife, why not have him like cutting into a steak?
Celery.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, why is it a piece of fruit?
Yeah. It's weird that his two flexes were hydration and cutting an apple before eating it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man. Teach their own.
That's so good.
Hey, maybe, you know what? Maybe when he's not bad guying, he's a great PTA dad. What do we know?
Yeah, he's got to be. That apple came from his preschool classroom, his kid's preschool classroom. He just took it with him. I missed Mouth and Millie in this episode.
Yeah.
By the way.
It's weird when your people are, you feel the absence.
Yeah. But the next episode, I know what's coming. I'm actually excited for what's next.
Wait, you do?
I don't. So don't say anything. Here's my secret. My secret wish is that they purposely didn't put them in this episode so that next episode, Mouth shows up in none of the prosthetics and they just offhandedly go like,
Lord.
that was some hike, wasn't it? And he's like, it did the trick. And then we never talk about it again.
Lord, hear our prayer, please.
All right, we've got a listener question. Goofball wants to know, what's the last thing you've read or watched that made you laugh?
Last thing I laughed, like belly laughed out loud, I was watching an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race.
What happened?
It was just these guys are so funny, and it's also a culture I'm pretty unfamiliar with. So I'm constantly hearing new words and new like turns of phrase. Yeah. And sometimes it just hits my funny bone in the perfect way and kills me.
I love that.
That's great.
I love that.
What about you two?
I was just watching an episode of the Giggly Squad, Hannah Berner's podcast, and I don't even remember what they were talking about. Now that I want to tell you, my mind is drawing a blank, but I was cackling. Like they really, really got me just the other day. I'll have to go back and see if I can find you a clip.
I think mine's kind of lame. I watch a lot of Frasier right now because I'm doing a lot of writing and I kind of work all day long. So I don't watch shows for new things. I just want comfort. Yeah. So I've just been in a Frasier zone. So that's the last thing that made me laugh. There was an episode where Niles is really upset about something. I can't remember. I think his marriage is over and he goes into the bathroom and meanwhile, Martin, his dad's been like, we're trying to revive this this QVC purchase that he had, which is called the Hot and Foamy, and it's like makes your shaving cream hot. And so Niles goes into the bathroom where the Hot and Foamy is, and he slams the door, and he's like super distraught. And all of a sudden, you hear this bang, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Niles, are you Niles?" And then he walks out, and he's completely covered in shaving cream, and I just laughed harder than I've laughed in so long. It's like pure Three Stooges comedy, but I don't know, it got me.
Okay, hear me out. It's a podcast, but it's just Joy retelling episodes of Frasier.
The Hot and Foamy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Let's spin a wheel. And while that wheel spins, I will say you answering Frasier is perfect, because before we started recording and you stepped into your Zoom square, I was like, you're dressed like a hipster who should be lawn bowling in Brooklyn. And then the fact that your like go-to comedy was Frasier, chef's kiss. Most likely to steal a friend's baby name.
Oh no.
Horrendous. I mean, Rachel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
I don't think anyone in real life would do that. Who would do that in real life? That's terrible.
No.
I would hope not. That's dark.
And we certainly wouldn't be outing them in this fashion.
No.
Yeah.
And their Instagram handle is, I would say, my first thought was Dan, just because he has a propensity to be a dick. But yeah, I'd say Rachel makes more sense.
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone else. Who else? If Nanny Carey's psychotic, I guess she would do it.
I mean, she tried to literally steal your baby. So yes, she'd probably try to steal a baby name.
Yeah. And Katie, by the way.
Katie, oh my God.
Katie.
If Clay and Quinn, as soon as she gets word about Logan, she is 100% procuring a child and changing his or her name to Logan.
Oof.
God, that's so crazy. Wait, is she still alive? I thought she died.
No,
she's
she
alive.
got wheeled out, very much alive. Remember?
Oh.
And then Quinn whispered in her ear, she's like, I'm the storm.
Your storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we just never hear from her again.
No.
I mean, I think the idea is that she's in jail forever, but also like if Xavier got out after committing a literal murder, what is reality?
Yes, that was crazy too at Karen's Cafe that Xavier was out. We didn't even talk about that. All right, well, here we go. The next episode is season 9, episode 8, A Rush of Blood to the Head. And I think it's going to be. This one's going to be quite a ride.
We're going back to Whiplash?
I think so. I don't know if it's going to be Whiplash, but we'll be on a roller coaster.
6 episodes left of One Tree. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, we're halfway.
No.
Oh, I don't like it.
I'm getting the impending feeling like from the actual end of season 9, where it's like, oh, we're all gonna, how cool, we're gonna wrap this thing. And then I'm just gonna sob for weeks.
We just get on Zooms to cry.
Yeah.
Friends, don't forget though, if you want to see us live, there is a way to do that, because we're doing our finale episode live from the convention in Wilmington at Trick. You've got to be a part of it. If you're not going to be there in person, please go get your tickets at veeps.com, veeps.com, and join us for the final episode.
For the laughs and the tears.
See you next week, gang.
All right, y'all. See you later.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iHeartRadio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.